Hey, good morning. How are you? Welcome to the Wake.Show. My name is Fisher, and we'll be going over the stuff you should know today. Some of the stuff in the news. Also got a couple of guests that'll be stopping by the studio, one of which is Chris McCarty, singer-songwriter, and here in the Bay Area. We've had him on the show a couple of times. Also, let me punch him up real quick here. There we go. There you go. Singer-songwriter Chris McCarty, and he's downstairs in our main room. Recording a song, and what we're trying to do is hopefully it'll be done here shortly, and they'll run the digital copy up here, and we'll play it for you today. Very excited about that. Also on the show today from Masteries is Matt Dom. He is the owner of Masteries Brewing Company, Blind Pass, and he'll be stopping by the studio. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, dry January's over. Woohoo! Woohoo! Dry January's over. I made it the entire, I don't know. Hold on, John. Let me run this by you. John and Jeff. Let me run this by. So here, I spent the entire month of January dry, meaning no alcohol. And so last night, my gig ends at midnight. So at midnight 01, it is February. Well, the bartender, Ryan, one of the managers out there, also a bartender, comes up to me right before midnight and goes, "Congratulations, man, you made it. That's well done. I'm proud of you." And he hands me a shot of Jameson. And but it was 11:57. But I didn't want to be rude in the moment and go, "Hey, man, can you just wait 3 minutes?" And so I cheersed him, and clink. Oh, it was a plastic cup, a little plastic thing. So click, and then boom, and so there you go. I had I made it through so then there was a part of me going, "Damn it, you didn't make it all the way through January. You instead only you made it, all of January except for 3 minutes." All right, I'm not going to focus on that. I feel pretty good about it. You failed, of course. Elliot, how you feeling, by the way? How are you and your little man doing? I saw your mom posting that you guys were a little under the weather, and I was thinking about you the last couple of days after you tell me I failed. The cool thing about having that gig on Wednesday nights is Thursday nights my voice sounds like this. I feel like on Thursday mornings I should just come in here and read stuff to you. I read, not like news stories, like fictional stuff. Slightly less like death. Ooh, man, I hope you guys get through it just fine. So yeah. So Matt Dom of Masteries, and I keep messing up because he's part of the Mastery family, and geez, my eyes are so red. Mm-hmm. By the way, that's with eye drops. But Matt, so Matt's going to come by, and I think he's bringing me beer. So hopefully I'll be having my first beer of the year coming up here in just about an hour. So, all right, we're going to get to stuff you should know. One of the things I'm going to try out, and by the way, John and Elliot and Jeff and Sarah and David and everybody who stops by the show mostly every single day, I want you to know that your opinions are important to me. And so here's what I'm going to do. One of the things that's felt weird to me is stuff you should know, like reading the news. And I don't know why. Maybe you guys are because I feel like at this time, maybe stuff you should know. So let me go ahead and pull up stuff you should know for today. Let's get you the header. Oh, there's the header. Let's get the background. Ooh, there's the background. Let's get the stories flying. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So here's what I'm wondering. Here's what I'm thinking. Is maybe, stuff you should know, because for those of you that were following me at, on the radio back in the day, do people still say back in the day? Stuff you should know was basically our news feature. So the way I laid out stuff you should know today, as you can see, is basically the stuff that we will go over today. or some of the news stories that we will go over today. And as we go over them, click. Well, the first one will be like Florida medical marijuana, and then move on to 37 condoms per Olympian, and so on and so forth. But I do want your opinions on that. If you, John, you're right. It was past midnight in Nova Scotia. Sorry. Now I'm backing up the conversation a little bit, going back and talking about my drinking. So here's what I'm thinking, because I like the way this looks, and talking it over with my show partner Cords, he just had a good conversation and convinced me that Stuff You Should Know is an important part of the Wake.Show. So this is the way I'm going to lay it out for the next couple of days, and you guys feel it out. And you feel like, oh, no, I like this. I like that you just kind of lay out the topics that you're going to cover throughout the day, highlight them as you go. Or if you're like, no, there's something about you coming right on and just going, boom, here's story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of the stuff you should know for today, and then move into whatever else you're going to be doing for the during the show. So keep an eye on that over the next couple of days, and please leave your comments. I'm not even kidding. It's very important for those of you that are here in the beginning. Your interaction means a lot, and appreciate it. So let's see here. All right, we want weird news stories. Oh, you know what? Somebody was telling me about a site last night. Black something. Damn it. And they said, well, actually, it wasn't the weird news that you would find there. They're saying I need to check out this site because these are stories that are coming from all around the world, and stories that are coming from all around the world. They're not necessarily weird. I mean, sometimes they're like effed up, but they're real. Real stories from, I don't know, whatever. I'll have to try to track that down. Elliot says, I like trying to guess what the hell they mean. Restaurants hire autistics. Oh, wait, I wanted to put an S in there. Well, here's the thing, because a lot of times when you see stuff like that, I want to turn it off because, let me pull it off the screen real quickly because, what are you doing? I'm going to lower this. All right. You're messing with your equipment. Come walking in here, mess with what's rightfully yours. Chris McCarty's going to sit down here in just a second. We'll talk to him. But let me get back to the stories themselves, because autistics. Let's see if that immediately makes the correction. Boom, 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 and yes. All right. So I appreciate that because I can only fit like 3 or 4 words on these lines. So Florida medical marijuana, that's going to be a story about how, we voted for some stuff around here, and our legislators are dragging their feet, so we'll talk about that. Also, there's records being set for how many condoms they'll be sending to the Winter Olympics, and it's going to come out to 37 condoms per athlete there. Now, this isn't about, hey, Chris. Hi. Hey, buddy. We'll get to Black Panther setting records in their pre-sale, whatever they call that. Kate Upton is now the next person to come into that Me Too movement. And then the restaurant hire autistics is a story I got out of TampaBay.com this morning. And it's about a restaurateur here in the Bay Area who is encouraging others to hire more autistics, people with autism. I'm sorry. I don't know that you call them autistics. And then a Super Mario movie. About damn time. They're like 30 years too late on it, but I'm still going to watch it. We'll talk about that coming up on the show today. All right, let's turn our attention now to, boom. You better click over. What did I do? What buttons did I not push? Right.
You clicked the autistics button.
Watch it, buddy. What is? There we go. There. Yeah, what?
You said you hit the autistics button. I can't believe you said that.
I didn't hit the autistic. I didn't say I didn't hit the.
You called him autistic. Oh my God. I brought your shirt.
You brought me a shirt.
I did.
Well, thank you very much, man.
Here you go.
Is it XL?
It's XL.
All right, good. Thank you. Let me see what camera are we on, right?
Just extra man. That's all you are, man.
Let's go to this one right here. Here you go. Thank you very much.
See? There you go, man. You got me, Chris. You just got me on you.
Yeah, I want
to wear it when you're like cleaning up the house.
Yeah, I want to wear you on my chest. All right, so in the studio now, Chris McCarty. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
I'm well, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. Let me pull off my stuff you should know stuff right now. And when we come back to it, we'll click that, and then we'll go through some stories. All right, so how did things go downstairs?
It was good.
Good.
It was a lot of fun. I love the area. It was really cool. It was good setup.
Yeah, the last couple of times that you've been, there I am, miraculously popping. The last couple of times you've been in the studio, you've sat right there on the couch and just pulled out your guitar and did a little something acoustic. And he texted me yesterday. Yesterday, of course, he didn't text me a week ago. About this, he texted me yesterday, and goes, "Hey man, I've got this. Can I say what? All right, you're like, I've got this great." I can't remember how you put it. Version of this new Justin Timberlake, Chris Stapleton song that I'd love to pound out, but I'm going to need that big studio. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah. Chords, can you set up that big ass studio? And now Chords, you have to remember, is the founder, the CEO of Bakemore Pies, which is a multi-million-dollar company that does a lot of business, and he only has so much time during the day to set up. To tinker around down there. So he's like, I could see his wheels spinning. And he's like, because he wasn't going to be able to do what, do it. So in his head, he's like, man, I'm going to have to hire, I got to bring somebody in. Sure. Can you call your boy and see if he doesn't mind paying a couple of dollars so I could bring somebody in here to make sure that all of his sound and everything is done right?
I don't mind. Yeah, dude.
So we brought in Wes. You met Wes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Is he?
Man, he's cool. The whole vibe was cool, man. Everybody there was just, I like it. Everybody who works was awesome, by the way.
All right, so how did it go then? How did it go?
It went well, man. I mean, it took a couple takes. It was just, it's always different when you're playing, in front of people, performing, and then it's like, the camera recording. So it's like a different mentality you go into, and then you just, okay, let's just play because you love playing. So.
The first time that you tried out, when you originally tried out for America's Got Talent, was it the same vibe? Was it just a couple of people in the room and you went up there and did your thing, or did they have a room full of people?
Yeah, it was a couple of people in the room. That was a way different vibe because it was like this, these table and there's 5 people and they're just sitting there, and then it'll say, and they've seen hundreds, so they have this look of like next. That kind of thing, right? So you go in there and it's just so it's interesting how small you feel when you're not, but you're like, geez, and then you're like, all right, do your thing and you play, and then everyone kind of starts moving a little bit, like, okay, they like it.
Did I ever tell you?
You didn't even ask that, but I just said that. So.
Did I ever tell you that I tried out for Last Comic Standing?
I think you did a long time ago.
I probably did.
It was like really. We were talking about like being comedians, and I think you did say something like that. How did that go?
Oh, but that's what made me think of it, because I know the setup that they put you down there, and it's really cool. Are we gonna be able to play today, or is it gonna be tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
They're figuring that out. Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully today. That'd be great.
So.
Last Comic Standing.
Last Comic Standing. I had gotten up on stage to do stand-up comedy about all of like 5 times. 5 times. Right. But I had a good time doing it. Right. And so in my head, I was doing well at it.
Right. Well, you're funny.
Well,
absolutely.
Okay, thank you. But that doesn't mean I'm a comedian. There's a completely it's one thing to be charismatic and be able to get up on stage and to hold the crowd and to get them interacting and laughing. That's one thing. But to get up there and execute jokes and bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, when they're in joke mode, I want to hear a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
That come to find out was not my forte. So when I get to the improv that day, we're all lined up. I know you know the deal. You're lined up around the block. Everybody's in there going, "Oh my gosh, this is my big break. This is my big break." And I'm like, I can't believe this, man. I'm standing in line. I'm getting ready to go up and try out for Last Comic Standing. I've only done stand-up comedy a couple of times. I'm feeling good about this. Yeah. I walk into the room, and there's a total of 3 people there, like you were saying, sitting at a table. Yeah. In the dark. There's no fanfare. There's no, hey, how you doing, man? Really looking forward. It is nothing. Just like Chris said. It's like, okay, who's next? What's your name? All right, go ahead, sir. And they're just staring at you. And then that's when I realized that I don't have any jokes.
I'm going at the cold. I'm just going to start talking.
Well, that's when I realized how much I need the room. I play off the room. You start here, you start here, and then get it.
And then you move it. It's the energy. Yes, you're like, this isn't a funny situation at all. Like.
So I don't know if I made it 30 seconds, 1 minute. I really don't.
Did they stop you and be like,
yeah, they stopped me. They knew, because here's the thing, harsh. I learned once I walked out of there that. you know, they could sense right in the beginning. You needed to be a pro. You needed to be somebody.
They could feel that energy. That's true. That's
not somebody with potential.
Yeah. Now, was there a Simon character? That was like rude.
No. There was no. It wasn't for television. These were
therefore Simon. I understand.
Right.
Yeah,
they weren't any of the. Yeah. None of this made it on TV, or at least you know. So you know, it was. I think I rattled off a joke about Warren Sapp. I had some joke about Warren Sapp that I don't even remember now. And then they were just like, "Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Fisher, or whatever. Have a great day."
They're like, that wasn't funny. So we need you.
They could tell. They could tell like you. They could tell who was a pro and who was not a pro.
Right.
You know, when you got up there and you can get right into your material and go boom, and you're pacing the room or that stage like there's somebody in the room.
Right.
Then, you know, that's a completely different.
I get it.
So, well, welcome back, man.
I'm glad you did that, though, man. You got the experience and you tried. Like, a lot of people are scared to try things because they're scared of rejection, or they, you know, we all don't like rejection. Who likes rejection? But, I mean, I think it's something to say about you. You got balls.
But, Chris, I don't know why I do it, because it's not a good feeling. That feeling right before I go up on stage, every time when I go, you know, by the way, when I do comedy now, if I go up and do, let's me throw the comedy. Again, I'm more of a host. I can host a night and bring up other comics and keep the people engaged or whatever. I still, man, it's like I'm waiting for the gal. I'm waiting to, like, I'm next up in line to get my head chopped off at the guillotine, by the guillotine.
Oh my God!
But
why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know. But I'm not the owner. I'm not the only entertainer that because I know that a similar thing drives a lot of people. The lead singer of The Used, Burt McCracken, if they're still around, was famous for throwing up right before he'd go on stage
and
every single night.
That's insane to me.
So you have to get over that.
I get it. I understand. I mean, I don't know. I get it. Yeah, you can, like anything, you can pound away the nervousness. I've played so much now that it's like, all right, I'm just, you know.
Well,
I get it.
Do you ever get nervous? Do you get nervous? Like all of it. What if Dave Matthews called you again? He called you back and said, "Hey man, I want to be in town. I want you to open up, but this time I'm not going to put you out in the parking lot. I'm going to put you on the main stage." Would you be like, "Holy crap"?
I think that the excitement, it wouldn't be nerve. It would be more excitement, because I've just been doing it for so long that maybe the day of, when I wake up, I don't do the whole, it's 2 days away. The day of, I might be like, oh my God, I'm about to go on stage, you know. But nerves, no. It'd be more just, ooh. Like when I did America's Got Talent, I was not scared at all. I was like, coming to be like, what? You know,
Okay, so in your head, you're in those moments, it's about time, universe.
I'm pacing like I'm about to get in a fight.
My moment.
Like I'm really like, it's funny. So some fans caught the picture of me when I was in Vegas, and there was a screenshot with it, you know, go through the fans, and it's me and the people, and you see the stare. You see this crazy focus, like I look like I'm ready to, like I'm mad. It was like, look at that scary in it. Yeah, so I don't get nervous. I get like,
One of the cool things about the job that I've had over the years being in radio is meeting amazing entertainers like yourself, being able to mix it up with some professional athletes and so on and so forth. Right? You get into that world, and one of the people that I'm honored to call a friend is Matt Bryant, who was once the kicker for the Tampa.
He's Falcons.
Yes, sir, Atlanta Falcons. And I asked him once, because I was very curious about the same thing. You know, when I watch him on television, it's coming down to the end of the game, and all of a sudden, it's going to come down to the kicker. To me, my nerves can't take it watching it.
Absolutely not.
As he's walking out onto the field, I'm destroyed inside when he lines up, and then they call timeout and try to
freeze him.
So I asked him, I go, how do you get over all that stuff? He goes, I don't have any of that stuff. He goes, in my mind, as it's coming down to the end of the game, I'm not thinking, oh crap, I hope it doesn't come down to me where the whole world is focused on me. In his head, he goes, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. In his head, he's going, I'm ready. Let's go. I want to be the one that gets in there. I want to be the one that wins this game. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's what you have to do.
Because that feels so good. Because, you know, he's done it before. He's won the game and knows that feeling. So in contests that I've done, that's got to be what it is. The contests I've done and I've won, I know that feeling. So now, you know, because before America's Got Talent, do you remember, what's his name? Ron. He was the manager of NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
The Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Okay, so he had this contest. It was called fashion rock. So whatever.
Right.
But I won that.
Wait, did you end up at one of his pajama parties too?
No, but I'll tell you, here's a cool story about now talk about confidence. Let's talk about Kanye. It's a blue bag that can put down under the pajama story, so I'm just gonna keep rolling. But I walked up to Perlman. It was Lou Pearlman.
Lou, you're right.
So I walked up to Lou Pearlman and I said, Lou, how many people tell you that they're the real deal when they meet you? And he's like, once or twice. I said, Lou, I'm the real deal. My name's Chris McCarty. Remembered. Walked off, right? I'm in my 20s, so I'm ego-filled.
Right. Unlike now.
No, I'd be like, nice to meet you. Hope. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But and then I went back the next day and I saw him wandering around and said, hey, Lou, remember my name? He's like, no. And I went, aw, Chris McCarty. And I walked away. So the way they had the contest, they named 6 male finalists. It was a room full of I think 4,000 people. It was in Disney, so it was of course Lou. It was big. They say your name, and I was the last name that they called, the last number they called. So they have these huge jumbotron screens, and they normally go into the crowd and find the person, but I was on the side. They didn't even see me go through, so no one sees me. I'm the last guy to go. And then I walk on that stage and lose one of the judges. He's looking at, and I look right at him. I walk just looking at him like this. Told you, Lou. And I'm singing the song. I think they gave me 1 minute. I'm the only one that people are clapping in the middle. I win and get the awards, and I don't even go see him.
Wow, what happened?
Something told me not to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he ended up in jail 3 months later.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's something. But that's, but what I meant, the reason behind me telling that story is that when gave me the confidence to go to America's Got Talent and be like, give me the ball, Matt. So that's probably what that comes from. Well, so maybe if you had won something doing comedy, you wouldn't have the scared feeling. That's all I mean by that.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So if I had won it,
maybe that's all I'm saying. Matt's won again kicking, so that's why he's like, give me the ball. I know the feeling. I know that feeling. I've won a contest. I know that feeling. So I want to do it again, but you may not know it. So that's probably why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's also the difference between competing and an art, for lack of a better term, I think. I do not like to, anytime I'm talking about myself, I do not like to include the word art in anything that I do or say. But okay, expressing yourself, how about that?
Okay.
Because kicking a football, that's you're thinking you're beating the other team. There's something to focus on there. Right. When it's you're trying to express yourself on stage.
It's not the same thing.
Right. It's just, I don't know. I think it's a different part of the brain. Hey, listen, Chris. I love just chatting it up with you about
always.
But what I'd like to do is run through some of the news of the day while you're here.
Let's do it.
And then coming up at noon, by the way, Matt Dom will be swinging by, and that is the owner of Masteries and Blind Pass. Can
I ask you what Masteries and Blind Pass?
Masteries Brewing. I'm sorry, Masteries Brewing Company.
Cool.
Yep. Company.
I was like, okay.
Yep. And you'll see the Masteries name around Pinellas County. That the family's been there and they've got their hands into a lot of different things. But anyway, really cool guy. And today is I made it through all of January dry. No alcohol in January. Well, there is an asterisk. Is it asterisk or asterisk? Asterisk. There is an asterisk.
Asterisk.
And that is I had a shot last night at 11:57.
Dude.
So it was 3 minutes before midnight.
Dude.
And the funny thing was, I thought it was gonna hit my, my brain would start swimming because I hadn't had any alcohol for a month. It's like I didn't even feel it. I'm like, what does that say? I don't know if it says anything.
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe I don't know. Did you eat a lot before you had the shot?
Yes, I did.
Because if you ate a lot,
there you go. There was
spoken like a true.
There was a
kind of. I know how it works.
We had a little tasting at.
It's probably a good thing that you ate a lot, because imagine if you didn't and you felt it, and you might have got that
ooh, let's go another.
Remember, did you ever see Finding Nemo? Oh, sorry, we got more the news. I was gonna say Finding Nemo, the sharks. We don't eat fish. Fish are our friend, and then the blood went into the shark, and he's like, ooh, I want some of that. That same kind of thing. Yeah.
All right, let's chat about some of the things that are in the news today, my man. First of all, let's talk about marijuana. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
No. What is that?
It grows out of the ground. It's a plant. A lot of people harvest it and either smoke it, ingest it in one way, and it releases chemicals.
They smoke it?
Yeah, it releases chemicals into your brain, and it makes you feel good, calms you down.
Do that? That's kind of weird.
I don't know. So. Here in the state of Florida, the Florida House seeks state action on medical marijuana, coming from TampaBay.com. The Department of Health has been slow to roll out regulations required to implement both the use of low THC or non-euphoric medical marijuana, as well as traditional marijuana for medical purposes. something voters overwhelmingly approved in 2016. The House on Wednesday froze $2.1 million in salary and expenses at the Department of Health for failing to respond to concerns raised by joint. I didn't do that on purpose. That was in the story. Legislation. So anyway, they're slow to roll out the stuff that they're supposed to be rolling out here. And again, I don't mean to keep using marijuana terminology, the rolling out and joint and whatnot.
Do you know anyone with a medical marijuana card?
I need one because I am currently what they call self-medicating, and so I will partake at night to go to bed, right? To go to sleep. But I'm still buying it on the street. And the reason being is here's the thing. It is tough. I don't want to have the conversation with my wife. That's what it is. I want to go, honey, listen, I want to go do this because the first thing she's going to say is, how much is it going to cost? I'm like, well, to initially get your card, I think it's like $300, and she is going to take my head off.
There's one for $169. I don't know how I knew that.
Yeah, here's a question. Do you know anybody with their the medical marijuana card? You've got one? Okay, so it's not $300. It's $169.
So
you knew a guy?
I originally did it, and it was $300. But the place where I go, there's another doctor next to them, and they're actually more legit than where I went. And so I'm talking to them, and like, yeah, dude, like we give more dosage for the year, for the 7 months, and then on top of that, we don't charge you the $300. We charge you $169. So it's like, oh, I wish I knew that. So now I'm actually going to be switching doctors.
Well, you already paid the initial card.
Yeah, but the thing is the doctor that I have, they only allow me a certain milligram dosage per day because it's medicine, right?
Right.
But what that doctor does is it's not enough. You know, because it's like 100 milligrams a day. Well, let's say, I mean, there's some people with awful complications, and, you know, I see them every when I go in there, and I know my, and some of they can't go off of 100. They need more. So the doctor that I'm talking to you, they give 200, so you can, you know, because what happens is if you run out, you can't get any more until the certain date.
Right, just like
so that's
any
why I'm saying
kind of
anything.
prescription.
So that's why I'm saying to you, like, you want to go to the other one, they give you 200.
All right, so can you tell me the name of this place now, or do we wait till we're off the air? Because you said it's legit, it's legal, right?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely, it's absolutely legal. I mean, you remember my knee surgery?
Yes.
That's why I haven't. Okay. I feel every day. I mean,
you still are feeling that
every day. This
old man.
Yeah, I know. So I didn't tell you, my first full band show in 3 years on Saturday at the Hard Rock, and I was jumping around, and I was feeling it. I'm icing my knee, like, oh man, but yeah. So yeah, I know what you mean.
It's a funny thing about Chris too, because he is. I've known him for a very long time and watched him perform for a very long time, and he was very animated, very active on stage. And after he had his knee surgery, though, going to watch him play, sitting on a stool, or a little bit later on, just kind of chilling. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, you know, you make a career, you get your name, you get, you know, success because of your legs. Because of the way you dance and play at the same time.
Because of your voice.
Well, you know what I mean? I feel like the entertainment spot. You know, like, who else can do that? Thank you, God. Thank you, God. You know, but then it's taken away from you. Really appreciate it. Like, man, I missed that. So Saturday was great.
All right. You know. All right, let's see. We'll move on from. Oh, by the way, to answer your question, I do know somebody with their medical.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, like, you know, I know what you need to say to them so you can.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to.
Would it change if it was $169 to $300 versus for your wife? Would it change if the price is $150? Because I feel like, dude, my health and sanity.
I think so.
There's no amount of money on that, man.
Also, because the stuff that I'm buying on the street, of course, is regular weed, and I'm smoking it, and so that's not good for you. That's eventually going to lead to lung cancer.
I'm oral, just boom, little pill.
Right,
okay, I'm cool.
right. They're also telling me about drops. So, like, a particular friend of mine, he has his little pen or his contraption, vape pen for anxiety. Right, and then at night he actually has a straight CBD. It's not, it's just straight CBD. Boom, at night he goes to sleep just fine.
Being a singer, smoking is not a good thing. So it's like, but I still, my knee, and so it's like, what I don't want to take because I don't know if you knew this. Like, did I tell you I got addicted to like pain pills at one point?
No,
brother, it was bad.
Chris,
from my knee surgery.
How come you didn't call me, buddy?
Because I was all geeked out.
No wonder we lost touch the way we did.
But I mean, I got out of it. It was cool. Andrew, my best friend since like 10 years old.
Brock, what's his name?
Andrew Ulsman. Oh, I shouldn't have said his last name.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Andrew.
Dump.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's not on Facebook. He's amazing. But we went to a beach house for a weekend and just detox. My best friend and I, like, sitting there through that. I'm like, dude, We got to get off this now. This is all bad. I mean, I was hooked,
Holy
dude.
crap.
The most pain I've ever been in there. I mean,
No, listen, I understand. One of my brothers ended up having back surgery, and the same thing with him. So it's a year. I can't remember the timeline, but there was about a year later, or whatever it was. We're like, hey, man, because here's the thing. He had gotten to the point where, because the pain was still really bad for him, and he'd gotten to the point where the allotted pills weren't getting him through the month. So he was looking else. We're like, no, that's when He's like, no, man, I'm not addicted. My back's killing me. Dude, but finally, we got everything.
Yeah, I had my surgery in November, and they said it's a 2-year full recovery. They're like, dude, you need to do this. So it was dilaudid. It was.
I'm not familiar. So
the big baddie, like dilaudid is. How about this? When I went to the medical spot, marijuana spot, and I had to give them my files, they were like, "You were on dilaudid?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah." You tell me. It's one of those things where you're in and you are literally hearing conversations. You're looking around like, "What the." I mean, it's nuts, dude. So Vyvanse, I was just all these. Oh my God, Tramadol.
Had you got to the point where you were buying them from other people?
No.
Okay.
Because the good thing is I have these kids, so and they were brand new basically. My daughter was 2 months old when this whole thing happened. So I remember the moment when I said, "Okay, we got to fix this." I put the kids in the car, and I'm on my Dilaudid. I'm on my Tramadol. I just take my Vyvanse, and I'm like, and then I go to the garage and I smoke, and I look at this and I go, "This is all bad. This is not right."
Yeah, all of a sudden you had a moment of awareness.
Yeah, I'm like, my kids are in the car. And I got to take, and I know I got to take, and I'm like, this is so I called my stepmother, I called my best friend, said, good. We're going to do this. And I told my, at the time, wife, said, look, this is what's going on. I need help. We're going to do this. And boom.
That's huge, Chris.
And that was in January. So it really was like only a month. I remember when I went to go get a prescription and they didn't have it. And then I went to find another prescription. They didn't have it. And then I went down here and they didn't have it.
And you're starting to get anxious and angry?
Oh, you know what? I don't even need this.
Okay, all right.
And that was when I'm like, oh, this is addiction. Okay, because I wasn't, okay, we got to get off. And I got off.
That's amazing.
Not
because most people, the ego gets involved there, and it takes a while to be able to admit.
But you know how I am, dude. I'm like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to mess anything up. So I was like, oh God, if I do this, I gotta stop. So yeah,
good for you, man. Good for you. Because for a lot of
but now when I hear people get addicted, I don't have the judgment of like, oh no, dude, you don't know what happened, and it's not what you think.
Because a lot of people
anybody.
A lot of people go, I can do this myself. I like in that moment when you had that moment of awareness. A lot of people still will go, oh, I get it now. I'll stop. They put it down. Then the next thing you know, they're back at it again. They're like, oh no, I'll stop. I'll stop.
I told them exactly what happened. I wanted everyone to know who I told what was exactly transpired for me to be like, hey, so we're out there, no secrets. You know this is serious. We got to go.
Well, good for you, man. That's awesome.
And that was clean.
All right, Chris McCarty in studio today, coming up at about noon. Oh shoot, I didn't plug in my computer. So actually, we're going to go until if we have 25% left in my computer, we'll go until that runs out.
That's fine, isn't it? You see my phone; it's always like 25%.
So next up, sir, a record number of condoms will be distributed at this year's Winter Olympics. 110,000 are set to be given away.
Hey man, it's going to be cold. Got to get close.
Yeah, enough for 37 athletes. Now they broke records, a couple summers ago when they were in Brazil. They did the same thing there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yep.
You need double that.
So already a record has been smashed ahead of the this month's Winter Olympics in South Korea for the largest number of free condoms handed out at a Winter Games. A total of 110,000 contraceptive sheaths will be distributed before the beginning of the games on Friday, February 9th. 10,000 more than at Vancouver in 2010 or Sochi in 2014. So there's nearly 3,000 athletes that are taking place, that are participating in this.
I wonder if any of them are celibate. Just wonder sometimes. Does anyone do that anymore?
Yeah, a lot of people do. And a lot of these athletes are forced to be. They have their helicopter parents that are making sure that they're going to become the greatest, whatever they're supposed to become in the world.
Right. So they do not allow anyone to get close to them.
Yes. Okay. So they're on top. But that's why I think that's one of the reasons why they end up banging so much once they get to the Olympics, because they're in a little Olympic village. They get away from their parents or their coaches for a second.
Yeah.
And you got to remember.
I never thought about that. That's true. Yeah.
And you got to think about it. I mean, these are all, and they're all the
top.
There you go.
Echelons of that.
They're young. They're full of testosterone
and whatever else, and they're just like, yes,
they're ready to bang it
and
out.
Once they're done. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I'm done, and we're here for the rest of the time. It's just time to hang out. Those people are losing their minds.
Oh, they're running through. They're running through.
Well, we hope we're first. We got 7 days to chill, right?
Oh, here we go. There's a shot there. Baskets with condoms will be placed on both men's and women's toilets at athletes' villages in Pyeongchang and Gyeongyang, the main press center. That's exactly how you pronounce it. Saying it did so for a success. Listen, if you're gonna be ignorant, you might as well just own it. Rubber manufacturing. Convenience Co. has donated 100,000 of the condoms, saying it did so for a successful hosting of the winter. Man, that's a lot of condoms to run. 37 condoms in like 2 weeks. That's running
a lot of, man. I don't know. Man, your thing out of face to be like.
In your singing, your younger years, in your single years, did you ever have? Were you ever at a show where you had multiple women showed up that you were wooing at the time?
Yes.
So from the stage, you're trying to keep one at this side of the stage, keep the other one, and figuring out.
Sadly, and I don't like to admit it, but yeah, that's you know.
You just say it was in your younger days. You were young.
I know, and that's why I look back. I'm like, oh God,
You were young, dumb, and full. What's is that? What's the new song? Is that Post? No, is that Post Malone? I don't forget it.
Yeah, I don't
know. All right, next subject then. Chris McCarty in studio, and I appreciate you coming by.
You know too much about me, bro.
What?
You know a lot about me.
I know. I can just set you up.
I see that.
Let's see here. Black Panther.
That's what Jonny went as for Halloween. My son.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty cool. It's funny because we live in Bel Air Beach and we're like the only black people who are there. And it was funny when we were going trick-or-treating. And we're like, what are you? I was like, he's the Black Panther. And everyone's like, it's just straight faces. Like, no one's like yeah. They're like, oh, that's nice.
They don't even know who the Black Panther is.
It's just too funny to me, man.
Well, listen to this. Black Panther advanced ticket sales exceeding all previous superhero movies. How about that?
You see, and my kid was on it before your kids. What?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks before the release of the Black Panther, excitement for the film was palpable. The title character, who leads the fictional African nation of Wakanda as King T'Challa and doubles as his realm's superhero protector, was first introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe in 2016's Captain America: Civil War. Did you see that one? You see Captain America: Civil War?
Yes, I did. I like that one.
I watched it twice. I still don't get it. No, I don't. I still don't know who the bad guy. Who am I supposed to be rooting for?
I know what you mean. I'm going to show you something. My brother went to a premiere in L.A. For that premiere, actually. And my mom sent me some pictures of him with like all the people who were there. I'm going to show you. But keep going.
But the roots stretch back through decades of comics. Whether fans are inspired by the new films or longtime readers, they're clearly ready to come out in droves for their hero. Fandango announced Wednesday that advanced ticket sales for Black Panther have eclipsed every other superhero movie at the same point in the sales cycle. So that's huge. So it looks like Black Panther is going to be. Let's see here. This is the premiere.
That's him with Snoop Dogg.
Him and Snoop Dogg.
And if you scroll, it's Janae Mo. She sings "We Are Young." And the next one, slow down. Fire, we can make brighter than the sun. Yeah, man. I think that's Brett Ratner. I think they're one of the directors. All right, so.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, you're right. I mean, Black Panther apparently blew up. They said it was awesome.
Growing up, what superheroes did you identify with?
Black Panther. No, I'm kidding. They didn't really push him out there for us.
Were you into comic books at all? Or the superheroes?
Yeah. No, Wolverine.
Wolverine.
I have the very first through 30 Wolverine comics.
Okay.
1988. Yeah,
was race ever something that popped in your head when it came to comic books and your superheroes, or were you just a little kid that got lost in Wolverine and you weren't thinking, hey, there's not enough black characters? And
yeah, I didn't. You're just so young and you don't really. We're taught that.
But
now it's cool to see black people. Like, that's cool. You know, it's like, all right, black people. You know, I mean, when you get older,
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's nice, man. I think there should be a Mexican superhero.
Well,
no, I don't. What do you do? But
well, I think it's very offensive to Speedy Gonzalez.
I apologize. I should not have done that.
One of the greatest superheroes of all time.
All time.
He's fast.
Andale, Ipa. Man,
That's
that
right.
dude was awesome.
He is fast. He is superhero fast.
Man, they gave him a mouse one, but they gave a Mexican dude one. What's that all about? I said feel bad for the Mexicans. You don't get no respect.
All right. Now it's time to get serious for a second. Kate Upton is the next person to throw their name into the Me Too conversation. Supermodel Kate Upton has accused fashion giant Guess, the fashion designer, her co-founder Paul Marciano of sexually harassing women. Here's the suck thing about it, though. She's not giving any details. No specifics about what happened. She did not cite any specific incident in her criticism. Oops, what am I doing? Still on that damn
Yeah,
shot.
it's rough. You can't. It's kind of difficult to say this happened, but not necessarily say anything.
All right, she's 25. He is 65. Upton, who once was the face of Guess, became the latest star to add her voice to the global Me Too campaign against sexual misconduct. Quote, "It's disappointing that such an iconic woman's brand at Guess is still empowering Paul Marciano as their creative director. #MeToo. She repeated this on Instagram and added, "He shouldn't be allowed to use his power in the industry to sexually and emotionally harass women. #MeToo. But she's going to have to come out and
explain that.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Right.
Yeah, give me something, because then it's going to be like deaf ears.
Has this this current climate impacted your relationships with any of your female friends? I.e., I ran into, I'm doing a race. Oh, by the way, doing a race this weekend. Best damn race in Safety Harbor for those of you that'll be out and running. I'll be your race announcer. I'll be the guy at the finish line not running.
That's cool. Can I sit with you? Talk about
I'll be the guy. I'll be the guy at the finish line running his mouth is what I'll be doing.
You run your legs, I run my mouth. We all win.
So I see a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, it is the race director's longtime girlfriend, great friends, right? And this would have been this would have been a month ago or 2 months ago, when the first time we kicked off when we kicked off this season. So I see her, and as I'm going up, I go, "Hey," and I go to give her a big hug, and I do, but it was in my head. I'm like, "Wait a second, am I making this person feel uncomfortable?" Because I'm a hugger. And so everything that's come out. Now listen, I realize hugging is not in the category of sexual assault, of coercion,
Right?
But this conversation has gotten really broad, and it's not just about people in power, and it's like everything's on the table, how you interact with women and so on, the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that moment giving her a hug, and then but it's in my head, and I don't like that it's in my head. It should be in my head. It's I feel like it's now we all have to keep our hands by our side.
What if it was in her head and you actually picked up on her vibe?
F you, man. That's effed up.
Wait, why is it
now?
effed
You're putting it in my head that she was actually uncomfortable. She was uncomfortable. Maybe you're right.
But wait. Not to say that you did anything. Like, she could just be one of those people like,
that doesn't like to be touched.
That's it.
Right.
And I'm saying that and maybe you're like, oh, like, it's good that you're aware, you're sensitive, and like, that's just great. You're aware. I mean, I wish everybody was like that. Why are you feeling bad about yourself? That's weird.
Because now she wasn't. And now I'm thinking about it, she wasn't at the next race.
She wasn't?
No.
Well, she forgot about it.
Oh. Or she was like, I'm not gonna sit there and take a hug from that guy again.
Wait, how long was the hug?
I mean, like a minute or two.
You hugged. Kidding. They say 17 seconds is the time you need for the hug to really take effect.
So I'm not releasing you until I feel you relax. Submit to the hug. Okay, now I understand why this isn't part of the sexual assault conversation. So it hasn't impacted any of your relationships or the way that you interact. You're not thinking you're still being Chris McCarty and.
Oh no, I know what you mean. Yeah, you're aware. Like, it's just aware. Like, I mean, even touching kids, I'm like, hey, don't. Yeah, dude, because you do that. There's people weirdos and people are looking. Is he a sex offender? Like, nope. So it's like, get that kid away from me. You know what I mean? So no, I get what you're saying. You think of it.
I got just got a text from Cords, and he is saying that almost done. Be there in 5, and what he is referencing is
I can't help myself.
What he's referencing is Chris McCarty recorded. Instead of just bringing the guitar up in here and doing it, which is awesome.
I like it.
It's great. We set him up in the big psych room downstairs.
It's different.
In our 80.
Yeah. So let me say this to everybody. So I come in and I don't know what to expect when I come to the radio station, right? And
while you're doing that, I'm gonna go. You talk. And I'm gonna go grab my my cable so my computer doesn't shut down, and we can actually play your video here in a second. So go ahead.
So it's my trusty backpack. I'm just gonna fill some time and so when I got here, I walked by. They have this big white room, and I'm like, oh shit, they got a white room. They have a green room. They have all these, and of course, you come here and it's cool. And we come back again, it's great. Now, third time, it's like, let's do something different. Let's try to see if we can use that room. And man, this is going to be really something, man.
It's cool too because I've been doing this a long time, and I get excited anytime you come in. But to watch Cords get excited the way he did, and then to watch his wheels start turning, like, oh, you know what? We could do this. We could do that.
I love it.
He started.
My guy. Yeah.
So let's do this.
Too cool. The envelope, please. Okay. And the winner is.
Uh-oh. I don't know how to. I don't know that I know how to play stuff from here though. Okay. Yeah, why don't you come around here? Otherwise, because I can just go here, click here, and play it right off of. Oh, unless it's a small one.
Yeah, it's on a little SD card.
All right. Well, you handle it. You go ahead and do what you got to do in there.
Do you want to play it on this?
Is it the big SD card? Then yeah, I've got an SD reader right here. And it'd probably just be easier. I mean, if you wanted to load it like you can, but oh yeah, let's do this. And then afterwards, after the video, we'll wrap things up with Chris and bring in Matt from Masteries Brewing. All right. Keep your memory safe. All your photos and videos will automatically saved. What? I don't need automatic nothing. Just sorry. Include videos for all. Don't ask again. Just play the damn video.
So this is without color correction, but I think you'll be.
This is without color correction, he is saying.
I think you'll be pretty happy.
Did I give this to you yet?
Thank you, dude.
The last track is the one I want you to read.
Y'all enjoy this.
All right.
Pretty special.
Yay, I'm
so
excited.
You see yourself up on the screen behind you. Press play. That's a great face. That's a great look you got there. On good look. So what you want to set this up? Man, that already looks good. All right.
No, I was crying. So this is tissues.
You were crying.
No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know. Set it up. I heard a song. Justin Timberlake, Chris Stapleton. Oh yeah, Justin Timberlake, Chris Stapleton. Heard the song. Thought it was awesome. And just decided to record it. And so called you, said let's do a video, and here we go. Let's see it. It's the first time for all of us to see it.
So this was only held like an hour ago?
Yeah. So this is done. Yeah, just done like an hour ago. No, not yet. Everyone knows all about my direction, but in my heart somewhere I wanna go there. Still I don't go there. Everybody say something, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something. But I don't wanna get caught up in the rhythm of it. But I get up myself, no. Caught up in the middle of it. I get up myself, no, I get up myself, no. I'm caught up in the middle of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I get at. Or maybe I'm looking for something I get at. Everyone knows all about my transgressions. In my heart somewhere, there's melody and harmony for you and me tonight. I hear them call my name. Everybody say something, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something. But I don't wanna get caught up in the rhythm of it. Well, I get it myself, no, I get it myself, no. I'm caught up in the rhythm of it. myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no, no. Caught up in the rhythm of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I can have. 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 Sometimes the greatest way of saying something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way of saying something is to say nothing. I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no. Gone into the rhythm of it, but I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no, no. Gone into the rhythm of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I can have. But maybe I'm looking for something I can have. Sometimes the greatest way of saying something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way of saying something is to say nothing.
Wait, what happened? What happened there?
There was like a.
Because I couldn't hear it. I couldn't.
Oh no, that was.
I gave you the headphones there, so that was amazing. That looked amazing. Give somebody, give him a hug. Is that all Wes there? You and Wes?
That's not me. That was Roy.
Roy. Yeah, Roy will be in here tomorrow talking movies with us.
Roy shot that.
So Roy's he gets all the credit for the cinematic part of that, and then the audio is Wes, right?
Audio is Wes.
That is something else,
You
man.
guys just made me believe in myself more.
What?
Seriously. You guys, this whole day, this whole thing just helped me believe in myself more, because I don't see me playing. I'm always playing.
Right.
Right? So I don't know what, and so to be able to see me in that setting with a professional setting, like that just made me be like, oh my gosh. So thank you.
I know you're my friend, and the people that put this together.
I'm like emotional, like, whoa.
But that looked
Touched.
amazing. Like, to me, if you were to show me that and go, I would assume you spent a day on that, an entire day on that. And you guys, that's when I'm there, and you knocked that out in what, 2 hours? Set up through everything in like 2 hours, 3 hours tops.
Dude, how many takes was that? That was just, you guys did that like that. Like, what?
Well, that sounded great.
Like,
this is something. Now, this is Chris. You asked if we could do that. If we could set up and record. So, what did you want to do? What are you going to do with this video now? Is it just for your social media? Or you send it to anybody specifically, or
no? I mean, I was just thinking about putting it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, be like, here, like, this is a version of it. Yeah, but that was wow. We got to put it on YouTube, like upload that, like now.
Yeah,
that was.
Right.
Thank you.
It's not even done. Like, that's without color.
All right, Corge is saying that's not even done. They have one more process, but that's going to take a little bit because every time you do something.
When you're done, come down
we'll talk.
Here and sit.
Right.
We'll put some titles. Make sure you give shout outs to Justin.
Of course, have to. Ooh.
Right. All right. Well, cool, man.
Oh, yeah, that's just. I'm so happy. Thank you. I think I should leave now. Like, let me.
Oh yeah, you are leaving now.
Bye.
So, Chris, where are you gigging tonight and tomorrow?
I'm at Krabby Bill's from 6 to 10 at Indian Rocks Beach. And then tomorrow I'm at Surfside Tap House in Clearwater Beach. Saturday afternoon I'll be in Clear Sky in Clearwater Beach. And then I'm actually off Sunday. I know I'm playing Dunedin every Sunday night, but it's Super Bowl, so.
Oh, jeez.
Even though my team lost.
Oh, it's also my first wedding anniversary.
Oh, how was a year? What do you think? Your first year's the hardest.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it, son.
Oh yes. Can I just pull the card, or do I have? No. Let me eject it. I want to do this. I don't want my computer to yell at me for. All right, there we go. Oh, the disc could not eject because QuickTime players are using it. Hold, please. I don't want to ruin anything. All right, now I'll be able to kick this thing out of here. All right, so the first year has been very, it's been awesome. You know, it's been a lot of challenges along the way, a lot of rewarding moments along the way as well. But yeah, but we have and I haven't gotten her anything yet. And I have no idea what to get her because our budget is $50. Listen, you got to get out here. I'm going to talk to Matt about this. Come here, give me some love. Come here, bud. Come here. I love you. That was amazing. I'm excited about that video. I hope Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton see it.
Yeah, me too. That'd be great.
All right. We'll bring in our next guest here in just 1 second. Let's just do it right now. We still got the stuff you should know that we're going to go over. We'll go over with Matt here. But I want to bring in Matt Dom now, who is the owner of Mastery's Brewing Company, Blind Pass. And everything, well, when I was living out at the beach, my wife and there's one of our we are always either at Boulevard Burgers or Mastery's, or right around the corner when we get a Groupon Salty Rim. And then as of like about, I don't know, a month and a half ago, I started doing trivia nights. So if you want, come out on Thursday nights, 7 o'clock for trivia nights. But when I was talking to Matt, and every time I've gone out there in January, I'm not drinking because it was dry January for me. And so last week when I was there, he goes, well, next Thursday is going to be February 1st. I go, yes, it is. He goes, it will no longer be dry January. I said, no, it will not be. And he goes, well, how about I come by the studio then? And I said, I would love that. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Have a seat there. Matt Dom from Mastery's Brewing Company, Blind Pass. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Chris. How you doing today?
Doing all right. Welcome back. It's a little bit of a slightly different setup.
A little bit change up. I like it.
Yeah, since the last time that you were here. But listen, man, I say we don't even mess around and we get right to whatever's in that cooler.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. How are you doing? Let's get.
Okay.
How are you doing today?
You know what? It's been pretty good. The week's been really productive. We're picking up on distribution. Got a whole bunch of cool projects going on. The social media stuff kicking off. It's been...
What do you mean by distribution? Because I thought you could only get your beer at your breweries.
So we're actually, for October last year, we went ahead and actually signed with Cavalier Distributing. So our beer is out in the market. We got quite a bit of beer out in the market too.
Nice.
At least for a brewery our size.
How do you? Because there's a Mastery's downtown,
right?
And then you guys, are you also the owner of the one downtown? Or
No. Those are my cousins.
Okay.
So my grandmother, Juliette Mastery, her brother was the one who founded Mastery's downtown, and now Rick and Jay Mastery run and own it.
Okay. Do you do anything in so when you do this distribution deal, is that just you, or does that include both breweries when you do stuff like that?
Nope. So we're the only brewery. That down there is just a standalone bar.
Oh, it's not even a brewery.
No, it's the oldest bar in St. Pete.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's so where it's been at now, it's been there for about 50 years ish, somewhere around there. But it was I believe just catty corner to where it is now, and I think they're going on a total of 87, 88 years being in downtown St. Pete.
Let me ask you, do I smell wings? Is that what I smell?
You do. Oh. Well, I told you I was going to bring by lunch. You can't just bring by some beer without a little bit of food to go with it.
You're
and
right.
I figured Super Bowl Sunday coming up here. What's better than some barbecue wings with some beer?
Oh, I'm so happy. Now, I'm not going to start mowing down those wings while we're on the air. But
I don't know, you might have to take at least one wing to pair with the beer because we got a little feed on there for people, a little bit of a beer and food pairing for Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, hold on. I gotta verify my age before I get into your website here. I want to make sure your website knows that I'm 21.
Absolutely, it's all about being alcohol compliant.
That's right. So tell me about. So you guys already had a bar downtown, or your family already?
Family has a bar downtown. Family has a bait and tackle shop on 4th Street South. There's a Mastery's Engine and Marine Center. So the Mastery's family has really been embedded into the Tampa Bay area for 130, 140 some odd years now.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Oh, how do I get into your site? I just click yes. On the, are you at least a? There we go. There we go. Now we're up and running there.
It's that Apple computer you got there.
All right. So you guys had your cousins, a part of your family had the bar downtown, and then was it your idea to go, hey, you know what? Let's start a brewery.
Yeah, absolutely. breweries are really my generation's kind of thing nowadays. I mean, the whole concept of breweries have been around obviously more than just, the last couple of years, even though right now is when we're seeing the big boom. But it's only really been the last 5 years in the Tampa Bay area that we've really seen a huge influx. Now, I think it was in 95 is when Dunedin Brewery first opened up. Sometime 99, 2000 is when Cigar City opened up. And really, it wasn't until I want to say 4 years ago that the first brewery in St. Pete even opened up, and I believe that was Green Bench Brewing.
All right. Now, right around the corner, was it Sea Dog?
Yep. So Sea Dog has built out a franchise location up in Treasure Island Beach. So they've got a brew pub out there. So right now, I think they're shipping in their beer from their Clearwater location, which is I believe their largest location down here. And so they converted an old building, 2-story building in there. It's a really nice build out. And really the thing that I think is great about it is now we have a nice little triage of beer stops out on the beach. So you got us on St. Pete Beach, a little bit, about a couple minutes north of us. You go up and you have Sea Dog Brewing, and then you go up to Madeira Beach, and then you got Mad Beach Brewing up in the Johns Pass area.
Sea Dog has done a great, when you walk in there, I was awestruck. And I went, holy crap, they built this for tourists. This is, I don't want to call it a tourist trap or anything. I don't mean that at all, but it's like they went and hired somebody from Disney or Universal Studios to help them put this, together. I think it's a great concept. But it's funny talking to Michael, who is the, do you call it brewmaster?
Head brewer at
Masteries. I love the competitive nature. And it was funny because when I was like, man, they did an amazing job. 2 stories, it's really cool. And he's like, yes, but they don't make their own beer. We're still the only ones that make our beer, everything on site. They ship in their stuff from one of their other locations and then do this and mix that. I'm like, okay, all right. I will only drink my beer here at Masteries when I feel like being touristy. Then I'll go around the corner to Sea Dog. All right, well, let's listen. I had a dry January. And I am proud of myself. I don't know if me being proud of myself is a signal that I'm an alcoholic, but every few years, I don't know if you're like this or not, but every few years, I have to kind of take a step back and go, I have been, drinking, like 3-4 days a week for months now. And I wonder if I'm okay. So I'll just go, all right, take this month off and make sure you can take it off. If you get 2 or 3 days into the month and all of a sudden, you're going like this, you might have to make a phone call. So I shouldn't say I'm proud. I'm happy that I was able to make it through the month without shaking. But that being said, I am shaking right now. So what did you bring in today to pair with these wonderful wings? So
today I brought out our amazing bourbon barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout.
The name. My mouth is already watering. Just the name.
Perfect beer to pair with some barbecue wings.
All right. Speaking of barbecue wings in the Super Bowl, I would like some help. How long have you're married, right?
I am married.
You are married. How long have you guys been married?
We're a little over 8 years now.
Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because, my 1-year anniversary is this Sunday. And I've only got a couple days left to get something for her that's under $50. And not only that, okay, let's just get out the beer. We'll get into that here. We'll get into my anxiety.
The beer will give some inspiration.
You're right. You're exactly right. Let's get some beer flowing through us while we're doing that. Let me check on this stuff here. Good morning or good afternoon, Hannah. How are you? Elliot Hoops, when we were talking about the condoms earlier from the Olympics. Vince Vaughn uses about 30 per athlete. That's awesome. All right. So, look at that. It's going to be absolutely delicious.
So this one here, I know I got a bottle opener
somewhere.
Oh, put my keys in my bag. Let me go grab my bag.
All right. You go get that. How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for being part of this and watching the show. Anything I can do for you while we're waiting? Make sure that, I'm not telling you what to do or anything, but let me just say that it is really appreciated when you guys share. So, and I know that a lot of you have done that a lot. So, I don't want to ask too much, but the more you share, the better it is around here. All right, so we got, let's do this. Let's do this.
So, of course, some glassware. Proper glassware would have been great.
But, of course.
Here in the studio, didn't want to have to worry about breaking any glass.
Of course.
So, Like I said, this is our bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout. Now,
when you say bourbon barrel, so you actually go out and get a barrel that once housed bourbon. That's
correct.
What that means?
And the barrel that we use actually once housed Four Roses bourbon.
Four Roses bourbon. Not familiar with that one.
It's a beautiful bourbon.
Beautiful. All right.
Absolutely.
Four Roses bourbon. I'm a big fan of bourbon. I just have to be careful. I just have to be, like beers, I can, keep going. The bourbon, I got to be a little careful.
So it's not a highly carbonated beer. So like, many of the beers that you get on tap, you're going to get a lot of head, a lot of foam, This one's a very light, subtle carbonation on it, but it's really about the rich, full flavors that you're getting out of it.
All right. The rich, full flavors. Here we go. And this is my first beer of 2018.
Well, then we're going to make it count because we're hitting up in the 10-11% range.
Yeah, not a lot of carbonation, if any at all.
Yeah,
slight.
Very subtle. Especially you got to let it warm up a little bit. Really helps bring out more of the flavors, the aroma. Many times, it's for a beer like this style, typically you would serve it in a snifter type glass. That glass is...
Go ahead, you relax. Get back
I know.
There
I got a beer in my hand. I should be relaxing. But anyway, so the glass that you're going to typically pour this in is going to be a snifter. That way, same thing like with brandy or, a good bourbon, the natural body heat from your hand can really help warm it up, get the bouquet, the aromas coming out of it.
Really?
If you really get a good smell, you can smell that bourbon and that oak.
Yes, and you can taste it a little bit.
It's a hint there, but you get a lot more of those deep chocolate notes out of it as well, and then almost a roastiness from almost like an espresso coffee. But there's no coffee in it. But again, that's the roasted malts and grains that are in it.
Now there's a phase, a trend over. It's been the last 5-10 years, really, but the last 5 years, it's really heated up, right? Wouldn't you say? About 5, 6, 7 years ago, the brewing, the brewers around the country popping up. Where are we in that trend, in that phase? Has a lot of those fallen by the wayside, or are we still going, ticking upwards?
We're still steadily climbing. I believe right now there was a study put out by the Brewers Association that we're actually just about back to where we once were with the number of breweries in the United States as there were pre-Prohibition.
Oh, I didn't even know that it was a huge thing back then.
Back pre-Prohibition, yeah, there were, You
didn't just have a couple of companies that ran everything?
No, well, you actually had, and again, the whole concept coming over from Europe and England, and every town had their own little brewery, had their own little pub. They would make their own beer there. So, back then, you had thousands of them because they were all throughout all the different towns and neighborhoods, and yeah, everybody made their own beer back then. And then once Prohibition hit, really it only got left over with whoever had the most amount of money to stay open, and that was mainly your big beer companies.
Now, for normal people, this is the kind of beer you drink. This is not the kind of beer you slam, right? It's hard for me when I start drinking beer. I want it to just go and go and go.
Well, every beer has its purpose. This is definitely one of those drinking beers.
Right.
Something to really enjoy, savor on the flavor, and just, it's like being a foodie and having some food that you really like. There's a difference between eating to enjoy the food versus eating just for the nutrition value and like, oh, I'm hungry, I gotta put some food in myself. But then you go out and you have a really nice steak dinner that you want to savor, and you're not trying to devour the steak, you're eating the steak, you're enjoying it.
This is the steak dinner.
Absolutely.
This is a fine steak. And what was it? It was a Russian barreled double flim flam.
So this is our bourbon barrel aged Starless Night.
Starless Night.
Starless Night. That's the name of our Russian Imperial Stout.
All right. What are some of the other names on tap right now at Masteries?
So right now we have our Kite Server Kolsch, and that's kind of the perfect example of one of those beers that when you're thirsty, you can just crush that beer. Sits at a nice, even 5-ish% ABV, really light, really crisp. It's a Kolsch. So what's a
Kolsch?
So a Kolsch, to be a true Kolsch, actually means it was brewed in Cologne, Germany.
Okay.
And so that's why really we call this a Kolsch style ale. Because in a true Kolsch, it's still an ale, but it's a lagered ale, which when we lager it, that means we ferment it at much colder temperatures than you would other ales.
And that does what to it?
What it does is, because of the type of yeast that we use on it, it ferments in a way to make it really crisp.
Okay.
Really crisp, really clear, and allows it to put off the right flavor profile and prevent you from getting any off flavors and aromas that you don't want. Because the yeasts are very sensitive. They're a living organism, and every yeast has a certain temperature range that it basically best works in, like you know, or me. Like when I'm outside, you know, to me that 75, 80 degree range, I can work all day. If I get too cold, I move a little slower. If I get too hot, I sweat too much and then, you know, put off some, you know, weird smells. And same thing like yeast. If it's too cold, it can't operate, and if it gets too hot, it can put off some weird smells. But every yeast strain has a different temperature range that it can best operate in.
Now, is this stuff, were you this fascinated with beer before you opened this brewery, or have you just learned all this stuff along the way?
So the in-depth knowledge that, of course, you get once you get into any professional industry obviously goes up exponentially. You know, but I had been a enthusiast fan, a little bit of an avid home brewer for quite some time before that, and then having the engineering science background, getting to dabble on the tools that are doing it in the actual industrial process. That's the part that always really fascinated me. You know, the pumps, the hydraulics, the refrigeration systems, you know,
well,
a lot of shiny stainless.
One of the things that fascinated me is when you start talking about, and you hold it in your hand, and the warmth from your hand will activate some of the aromas. And, you know, I'm thinking I just want to grab my beer and pound it. And you're like, no, there's a way to drink this thing so you can get the full experience, the full flavor of this. And that is very fast. Now, I know we should be drinking this slow, but I want to talk about my relationship here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and we'll fill it back up, and then we'll start talking about...
Sounds good.
I've only got a cup. Well, let's do this. We'll make it a personal. I've only got a couple of days before my first wedding anniversary, and I know it's the paper one, but I have no idea what I'm going to get her. So here we go. Cheers. All right, sir. Is there more in that bottle, or is that it?
Oh no, there's definitely a little bit more in that bottle.
All right, good.
Like I said, I still got to get at least one wing on you for you
All
to
right.
really.
Let's do the wing now. We'll have that delicious wing now. Where are these wings coming from today?
So I actually stopped at the Hooters on 4th Street. Give a little shout out to them.
Oh, good for you. Good for me. Do you have any napkins in here as well?
I know how wings work. I brought a whole roll.
Perfect.
So, like I said, I know that... here, I'm going to give you the bottle, let you pour your beer.
All right.
I know that the Super Bowl is coming up here, and we're actually doing some bottle specials this weekend too, because, you know, we're a brewery. You know, we've contemplated being open for Super Bowl Sunday, staying open later, going into the game, and kind of, you know, I don't know if anybody's like me, and I think, you know, a lot of people are in this fashion. They like to do home parties, you know, host Super Bowl parties at your house, get to watch on your own big screen TV, don't have all the crazy interruptions, and, you know, order in some wings, bring in some beer. So I figured, why compete with that? Why? Let's add to that. So we're actually going to do a pre-Super Bowl party, and we're going to be doing discount growler fills and bottles all day long. So come on in. So this Russian Imperial Stout right here is typically a $20 bottle. We're going to do $5 off of it, so for $15. So really, you buy a couple of them, you can almost get the third or fourth one free.
Is this unnerving watching me mow down this wing?
Oh no, trust me, I'm about to get on one here in a second.
All right.
But now that you have that wing, because again,
so you're an engineer. You're an engineer. Which I know is not the same thing as a chemist, but what's the science, or is it an art behind the pairings?
There's definitely more of an art, but you can equate. I don't know. The way I think is always very mathematical, very processed. You know, so you start looking at flavor profiles and sweetness, and you can start measuring acidity levels or spicy, you know, or spices, and, you know, trying to find this items that were going to directly complement each other or work, you know, almost contradicted to each other, but again, it's still complementative, you know, putting something sweet with something salty, maybe something sweet with something spicy, or again, you can go chocolate, you know, chocolate bars and a chocolate beer.
Because this is a little chocolatey.
A little bit.
A little bit chocolatey, and we paired it with...
the barbecue wings and the sweetness of the barbecue. You can kind of, like, it just enhances it.
You need to come in every week. You need to come in every Thursday and bring in a new pairing every Thursday.
We can work on that.
That'd be awesome. All right, so, last time when you were in here, we talked about various things. I still have some news to run through. So, like, I don't know if you want to...
Go for it.
All right.
I got time.
All right, so let's bring up my... I've got crap all over my fingers. Hold on. Wipe it on be a good redneck, and we'll just wipe it on my pants. Oh, Mom, I'm sorry. You raised me better than this.
That's why you're supposed to wear blue jeans. Jeans, there's a little bit more friction to it. You can do that.
Well, my fancy pants, which is my good blue jeans, my fancy pants ended up with a rip in them. So I'm down to...
Well, now they should cost $100 more.
You're 100% right, except it was in the ass, so it should be $1,000. All right, now let's see. Where are we on our next story? We're going to get to... All right. Well, perfect. It's about restaurants. And... Oh, no. Where did you go? Well, maybe we won't be talking about that. My stuff has disappeared. It's all my fault. All right, so we'll just talk about this then. Super Mario. Now,
Yes.
how old are you? 32?
33.
33. So I guess this is not in your wheelhouse?
Oh, it absolutely is.
It is.
Absolutely.
But by then it's Mario Kart, though.
No. I had the original Nintendo to the point that you had to blow on the cassettes and get the system to cool down. And oh yeah.
Okay. Well, they've get set for a Super Mario movie, and after months of speculation,
A remake?
What was there already a movie?
There was an original one done back in the day that was actually it was people too. I mean, it wasn't cartoon. It wasn't.
Oh, I got to see that. That's got to be so.
There's an original Super Mario Bros.
There's
I want
gotta
to
be
say it was
horrible.
put back out in the early '90s. In fact, what's that Italian actor that he played Luigi? You're gonna have to Google
All right,
it.
we'll look it up. Who played Luigi? I should just ask Siri. Who played Luigi in the Mario? Oh, John Leguizamo.
Yep,
He's awesome.
he
Very
is
talented,
awesome,
yeah.
and it was really pretty good for its time. It's like it's almost like watching the I don't know if you know this, but even like Double Dragons. That was a video game turned movie back in the '90s.
All right, I bet you there's a trailer, Super Mario movie trailer. No, not the 2018, because they won't have that yet. So this Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, wait till you see who King Koopa is.
So King Koopa. All right, here we go. Whoop. All right, so I'm going to have to talk over this. I'm sorry, because what will happen is Facebook will kick me off for copyrighted stuff. So I got to be careful.
Where are we? I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
This doesn't look familiar.
Yep, a couple plumbers from Brooklyn, and they accidentally got themselves flushed down a tunnel and woke up in
This looks
Mario Land.
awesome.
Princess and a mystical meteorite
How did I miss this?
that gives anyone
Oh yeah, man, this brings me back to being a kid.
to rule the universe.
Get me the rock! Come and get it, lizard!
Oh, that is. What's his name?
They must rescue the princess
It'll come to me.
Alien species escaping.
and make it
He
safely back.
remember the movie Speed? He played the bad guy in Speed.
Yeah.
before time runs out.
Yeah, this does not look familiar at all.
But anyways, on to I guess
Yeah.
they're making an animated Super Mario Brothers movie.
It looks like it, yep. So 25 years after its first offering flopped. Oh, so there we go. 25 years after it flopped at the box office during the company. Well, you know what? I guess Leguizamo was not a name yet, right?
No.
And then it wasn't until the mid or late 90s that I think he started to hit. During the company's strategy briefing, the Kyoto-based firm confirmed it is working with movie studio Illumination on an animated movie with Mario. With this I'm in. I know it's 30 years later or whatever. But this is such a huge part of my childhood, or at least a portion of my childhood.
Your late childhood.
late teens.
You were probably like graduating high school. Come on.
Wait. Okay, hold on. When did the original Super Mario's Siri? Siri, when did the original Super Mario's video game come out?
Here's what I found on the web for when did the original Super Mario video game come out.
That's how about you just tell me? Don't make me go anywhere. All right, Super Mario Bros. 1985. All right, so September 13th, 1985, I would have just turned 13 years old. So screw you, man.
well, my brother is almost your age. He's a couple years younger than you. So my brother, I have a 7-year older brother, and so big brother had all these things. So of course, I wanted to play.
All right, and I just real quickly the last news thing only because the people that watch the show brought this up in the very beginning. Restaurants hire autistics. How did I mess that up again? And it was a story about an entrepreneur and a restaurateur here in the Bay Area who has a program himself where he's hiring people with autism, and it's a really cool story because from his vantage point, he's like, you don't understand, those people with autism can get focused on certain tasks and just knock them out left and right, boom, 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 where other people can't. And so he's not only he's been hiring people with autism at his restaurants, but he's now encouraging other people to get involved with that kind of program as well. And I know for me, when I've had an Infinity vehicle for, I don't know, 10, 15 years now. And when I go to Infinity of Tampa, when you go to pay for your stuff and whatever, they have this little cafe area, and the person that's behind the counter, it's part of their program too. There's a sign that says, this person has autism, please don't reach across the counter. No, I'm just kidding.
Isn't it Infinity and Mercedes of Tampa or whatever? Or?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe. Well, the Infinity of Tampa is only an Infinity dealership.
Right, I think the Mercedes of Tampa had some, or maybe it's the Infinity of Tampa that I'm always thinking of. I think this is great.
It is. And it's go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's actually funny that you bring this story up because the particular field that my wife, PH Dr. Danielle Dom, she is.
You married a hot doctor?
Trust me, I've been trying to schedule my checkup for weeks now, and it just. But I know, so she's a doctor in education.
Okay.
So she recently graduated from USF Tampa. But anyways, her field of specialty has actually been special education. And she's been working for, God, I want to say the last 7-8 years now, and through her master's for a department with DOE through USF that specializes in transition of individuals with these type of disabilities to basically supply them with the training and information and the teachers who work with them to give them the information and training on how to get them past high school, get them into a vocational training, get them into a college type setting to give them these life skills that for the longest time people, and just like this individual here is, showing that no, they are very capable. They're very smart individuals, and that many times they're better in process about being very focused and getting things done than we are.
Well, it's the emotional side of things that, you know what? Here's what I'm doing. I don't have enough information because I was getting ready to go, well, it's the emotional part. They have issues with empathy. And what the hell do I don't know anything. All I do know is that I am warm. I feel like the alcohol content has kicked in from the sub beer. So cheers to that. Absolutely, man. Here's the Thursdays. It's the new Friday, right? Thursday's the new Friday? Thursday. I like the way you think, Matt. By the way, if you're just joining us, this is Matt Dom, the owner and CEO of Masteries Brewing Company, Blind Pass, and I'll be there. I'm there every Thursday night doing trivia. We had a good night St. Pete Beach. We had a good night last Thursday. Absolutely. It was a really good night. I'm not the kind of person that I've never been the kind of radio personality or whatever that when we start talking about these things, I bullshit the people we're talking about. It's been a challenge to get that night up and running, and it's because over the holidays. Well, I don't know why, but it is. over the holidays, we were running it like Thursday nights. It would be freezing that night, and then the next week it's Christmas or something like that. And we were just running into these things. But we had a great week last week, and something I'm looking forward to building on. And one of the things that I love that you guys do out there is bring out those food trucks. Because Mastery's Brewing is not a restaurant, and I know that's sometimes a challenge for you guys. But the deal that you've worked out, so you have a food truck pull in there. How did you do that? Because there's 3 restaurants across the street, and they couldn't be happy about that.
Actually, they've been very supportive.
Really?
Very supportive. So, food trucks is actually one of those issues out on St. Pete Beach that we've been kind of on the forefront out there. So, prior to us showing up, from our understanding and what we've been told now, is that food trucks really were not allowed out on St. Pete Beach, which to me was an anomaly because I had been to a food truck rally out on Corey Avenue before. I've been out on Paso Grill and seen food trucks out there as well for different events. So when we originally opened up and planned the layout for Mastery's Brewing Company, we always designed it so there was a spot to park a food truck.
Smart.
So again, getting built, getting open, go down to the city. Okay, anything we're supposed to do to put food trucks out there? Well, what do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, well, we're a brewery. It's part of the culture to bring in food trucks. Oh, well, we don't allow food trucks on St. Pete Beach. I'm like, I didn't get it. And I explained, well, I was just at one a weekend ago at a food truck rally. Oh, well, that was a special event. Well, can I get a special event permit? And they're like, I think so. I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
Because then you're going to have to get a special event permit every week.
Every single time. So for the first couple of months, that's what they were doing, just giving me special event permits all the time. And then suddenly they said, you know what? We don't feel like this really meets the special event criteria, so you just can't have food trucks anymore. And then suddenly, not only myself, but all of my customers had their arms up in the air like, what is going on here? Why would the city, you bring in a brand new brewery, we expect food trucks to be coming out there because that's part of the brewery culture, and now we can't have food trucks. So we've been spending the last year actually working with our local commissioner, our mayor, and a lot of different individuals in the community to develop a new ordinance for St. Pete Beach to finally get food trucks on a regular basis allowed without having to go through a special event permit. Coincidentally, actually, this coming February 13th is our personal final hearing at City Hall with the commission to vote on getting the permit for the property to allow the property to have a food truck come on it. So now, back in December, we finally got voted on that they'll let food trucks on St. Pete Beach, but the city is also mandating that each individual property has to also have their own permit, basically, which is a conditional use permit to allow that property to have a food truck as well.
Wait, so do you have to you have to pay the city every time there's a food truck out there?
So I don't have to pay them every time, but I did have to go through a process of permitting with supplying drawings to scale, a property survey, paying a $500 fee, plus we have to do mailers to the surrounding 500 feet property around the area. That way everybody in the neighborhood knows that we're going to be having food trucks to make sure that the locals are okay with us having food truck, when all this time the numerous letters of written permission from the restaurants and brick and mortars across the street, plus from the local residents, have just flooded into City Hall this entire time saying, hey, just let them have their food trucks. Let them have
good.
Their
They're
food
not
trucks.
battling. They're like,
oh, no, they've been in, like I said, whether it's been Vito and Michael's Pizza Place, which is right across the street from us, for Ducci's, Nori Thai, they've all written letters in support and basically letting everybody know that their business has actually been increasing since we've showed up and since we've even been doing food trucks, because sometimes we'll get a taco bus type thing in front, and you know the individuals would actually prefer sushi or a slice of pizza, so they come out thinking, oh, I'm going to order the food truck, and go, you know, I'm really not into it. Oh, there's a really good pizza place right across the street, I'll get a pizza and bring it over. And we don't limit people at all on how they can bring food in.
Excuse me, I just burped into the microphone. I apologize for that. Yeah, they need to put a cross. Well, I guess the crosswalk's only about 20 yards down.
It's a little dangerous. It's like playing Frogger getting across that thing either way.
Because I love those nights. I love those nights where we're at your place for a while, and then all of a sudden it reaches that point where the party looks at we all look at each other and go, ready for a pizza, and so we call across the street because you have 2 pizza joints or Italian restaurants.
We've actually got 3 within a block of us.
Jeez.
You got Verducci's, Vito Michael's, and Tudoroso's, and all of them really are very different. I mean, they're all Italian food, but they're all very unique and different in their own ways, and all 3 of them have great offerings.
By the way, I just want you guys to know that because I get questions about how we're making money around here and how I'm making a living and so on and so forth. Well, one of the things that we do with the show or with this venture is we are content generators. So after I shut down the show, we will fire everything back up and then record segments for clients around the country, right? Well, we've got one today at 2:30. And so Matt, I just want you to know that this was a delicious beer, and it is a high alcohol content, but it is $12.39 right now. So that will be the last sip of beer that I have, because at 2:30 I have to be professional and not be drunk. So I think after the show today, I'll just take a nap on the couch that you're sitting on until it's time for us to deliver content for other clients. I am literally sweating. This is what I get for not drinking for a month. Hold, please. I want to turn on the air. Are you hot at all?
It's a little warm, but I'm pretty comfy.
Oh, you know why that is?
The air is entirely off?
Yes. It's because of...
Well, and you're so interactive over there, so you got the energy already going and you're fired up. And...
It's because of the last few days, it's been on heat. So it's just waiting for it. So it's actually 77 degrees in here. That's way too damn hot in here. All right. Let's see. There was something... Oh, I remember what we were going to talk about. All right. It's time to get personal.
It's coming up.
I can talk about my relationship. Now, you know my wife.
I do know your wife. She's wonderful lady.
She is. We have our 1-year anniversary, our first anniversary coming up on Sunday. It's the paper anniversary, according to what I read. She has informed me that my gift already came in the mail, so she's already ahead of this thing. I have, 3 days to figure out something. Now, you might be thinking, Fish, this is effed up, man. You've had plenty of time. You should have already had this figured out. But you don't. When I start down this path, I don't know what to do, because on one hand, I'm like, it's the paper anniversary. Maybe get cute and make her something out of paper. We have a $50 limit, so that really narrows things down. But when I start to think about what it is that I want to get her, here's what happens. It all has to do with a new house we just bought in November, or late October, early November. But I can't get her anything for the house for obvious reasons, because it's not going to match whatever it is she has in mind for whatever our future is. So I am, although you might not be able to sense it in my voice, I am stressing the F out right now, because in the back of my mind...
Even after the beer? It's got to cut the edge a little bit for you.
It does cut the edge a little bit. I can't lie. Here, it's made me unbutton a couple of buttons on my shirt too. Okay, how about this? I'm terrified that I am going to mess up I've never been married before, and I'm terrified that I'm getting ready to mess up my first wedding anniversary.
Well, I think the good thing about being terrified is actually, I think you should appreciate that and going that, yep, you really love her because you're so afraid to mess up that you want it so perfect, which...
Keep going, keep going.
Just that to begin with should speak millions to her. So I think even in expressing that, hell, I would put that in your card. I would let her know that you are terrified to screw up, because it's that important to you to give her the right gift.
One of the reasons why I'm terrified is because traditionally, going back to my teen years, my late teens... When it comes to these big things, anniversaries, New Year's Eve, Valentine's, I bomb. And I don't know why. I am not good at that at all. Now, you've been married 8 years.
I have.
Your first wedding, your first anniversary, do you remember it?
I do.
And?
We did a cruise on our first anniversary.
Damn it.
But I know that doesn't help you with that, but I can tell you so. Our anniversary falls in May, but I also do remember my first Valentine's Day gift, which is kind of perfect because Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Which we do have some awesome Valentine's Day events coming up at Masteries Brewing Co. You should definitely check that out on Facebook. Sorry, I had to.
No, don't.
Had to throw a little plug in there.
Don't apologize.
But anyway, so I love buying and shopping for my wife. I really do. You know, I love thinking about her all the time. So when I have the opportunity to buy her something, you know, I really like getting unique and crafty. And
Are you saying that shit because you know she's watching right now?
oh no, I know
really?
she's actually not watching right now. She's in Tallahassee in a DOE conference.
So I like this. I'm not going to make fun of you at all because I think more men need to be like this. More men need to be focused on their wives, including myself, and less focused on their own, because we have a tendency to be, as men, narcissistic, because we have this vision of greatness, and if you just follow me and you root me along, then I'll take you to the promised land with me. But you think about your wife and go, I want to figure out a new way to make her happy.
So trying to get a little creative, something different. I went to Barnes & Noble. I spent some time going through a lot of books because my wife loves to read. She's a reader. She always tells me if she ever had the ability to spend more time doing anything, it would be find a spot in the house to just sit down and read for the fun of reading. And so in knowing that, I spent some time going down to the bookstore, and I happened to come across a book that was just a long thing of love poems by Pablo Neruda. And so I used that as my card.
Were they all in Spanish and then translated?
Yes. And then
well, the only reason I ask is because it sounds familiar to a book that I bought like 15 years ago, the same thing.
Well, this one's about yay big. It's pink and everything, and it's just got a whole bunch of Pablo Neruda. And then I found my favorite poem in it. And
which is? Do you remember?
I'm not going to be able to quote it at this point. I know where it is in the book. I can find it because it's marked. But I mean, come on, this is 8 years ago. But anyways, I mean, so it was something simple from the heart. You know, it was paper because it's a book. But you know, I mean,
no, you nailed it. You nailed it for me.
But even make a photo album. You can take your wedding shots, pictures of you over the years, a poem book. Get a little creative, make something. I mean, like I said, even in the card, you know, talking about how terrified you are. The part that hits the heart on the first year is really like you said, the first year is very new. So letting them know after the first year, like, yep, just as crazy, if not more crazy about you than before we started dating. You know, you know. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm 8 years in, and I'm still more infatuated with my wife than I am about anything.
I love it. I love you, man. That is awesome. And by the way, so I figured it out. I know exactly what it is I'm going to do, but I can't tell you. I'll let you know on Monday. I'm not even kidding. I just had an epiphany in this moment. All right. I'll tell you what it is. I'm a creative person, so I'll leave it at that. All right. So I can write her something. You know, you were just talking about picking up a book of poems. Well, that's kind of in my wheelhouse. So not picking up the book of poems is in my wheelhouse. I mean, writing is in my wheel. You know, creative writing like that.
Well, you like to talk, so I'd like to hope you can write. Siri, take a note.
So all I got to do is rhyme some stuff and share my innermost feelings, and I'm good. I'm thinking.
I would think so.
Yeah, and put it. It's the paper anniversary. For
it is the paper anniversary. You both agreed to put a stern budget on it. And that's always the biggest part, is making sure. And even if not, you can't really hold it against you if you keep to it and she decides to go a couple bucks over. Just saying.
No, here's the thing. I can't go a couple bucks over.
No, you can't. She'll hold that against you. But if she does, you don't. You just appreciate it and just.
I don't care about money. I've never. To me, money has always been a necessary evil, and I hate it. I hate the way that the look in people's eyes as they. I don't know, as they get into a certain mode, and I hate what it does to us. But she's the exact opposite. Not that hold on. Not that she loves money. It's that she just understands it makes the world go around. And while I want to sit here and be idealistic or whatever, she understands that it's a reality of life. So, here's what would have happened in my past. Today, no, wait, hold on. The anniversary's on Sunday, so it'd be Saturday or Sunday morning. I'd head out to the mall. And I'd start going through the shops. Oh, I like this, like this. And the next thing you know, I've spent $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $1,000. And whoever I'm dating at the time, they get all these gifts and whatever, but it didn't mean anything. It was, I waited till the last second. I'm walking to go, oh, I think she might like this. I'm like, oh, I have $1,000. Well, there you go. There's congratulations. Now, my wife might be watching this right now going, oh, really?
Where's my $1,000?
Well, you put a $50 limit on it. I'm sorry, honey. I can't do $1,000. That's the answer to that one. So, well, thank you very much for your advice. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, my wife and I actually don't even really do large gifts for special days. Christmas, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries. You know, I mean, if we want to buy each other something, we really just go ahead and buy it and just randomly. But really for us, even so, I mean, as far as that kind of stuff, we like going doing stuff. You know, we'll take a little vacation, create experiences, you know, memories, that kind of stuff. And, you know, we're both so busy with work all the time that to us, you know, when we can have time to get away for 24, 48 hours,
that's
just
a gift.
us, that's really the gifts. We you know.
Well, I don't know if there's any $50 adventures I can take her on, but
a couple bottles of beer at Mastery's Brewing Company.
Thanks. Well done. Well, man, I appreciate you coming by today, and I am nice, and my cockles are warmed.
Nice.
My cockles are warmed, and I still have a couple hours before I've got some professional stuff to do. So I think we'll wrap things up now.
Well, thanks for having me back in, Chris.
Well, thank you. And then I'm going to pound those wings that you brought in. And make sure tonight that you join me at Mastery's and every Thursday night for trivia night. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a special night where all the trivia questions will be from the 80s through now. I want to say that's in 3 Thursdays. The 17th. Just follow
us on Facebook.
Yeah, go to Masteries and follow them on Facebook. And then we got a Tournament of Champions that we are putting together that we'll have here in the next couple of months or so. So it's a lot of fun. It's beautiful tonight. Actually, it's going to be a beautiful night out at St. Pete Beach. So come by Blind Pass. And damn it, I'm getting ready to be a bad host again. Because I do this every single time. As I'm getting ready to wrap up, something pops in my head that I wanted to bring up, and so then I have to turn to my guests and be a horrible host. Not in a bad way. I mean, I should have just wrapped it up in whatever's in my ADD right now. We
could have held it till next time, but
going back to the food trucks.
Yes.
Going back to the food trucks. I want to because you know Charles Marco, right? Mm-hmm. Charles Marco owns a couple of places downtown, I think, or used to, but I know I'm out there a couple times a week at Boulevard Burgers right down the corner from you. So when I first met him and we're chatting it up, I had this great business idea. I asked him if there were any like alleys in downtown St. Pete, since he was already a business owner, any alleys that I could rent the alley, like I could buy the alley. And then rent out space in that alley to food trucks. I'm like, I had this great idea. Let me take it back. It wasn't my great idea. I was in Arkansas or Fayetteville, and somebody had done it there. And I'm like, that's genius. You have all these people paying this huge rent up and down this particular strip. This guy bought this alley and now just parks 6, 7, 8 trucks in there every single weekend, and is charging rent. And so I'm excited because I think that I've come up with a great business idea, and I'm going to share it with my friend Charles Marco, and he's going to go, great idea. Let me help you out with that. And he mother effed me up and down, and it didn't dawn on me that I was basically saying, I want to become your competition, because he had a couple of restaurants downtown. I want to become your competition, and for a lot cheaper. And so I see, now that I've said the story out loud, I realized I should have just wrapped it up 5 minutes ago. I didn't need to share that story at all. Sorry about that, Matt. I'm going to blame you and your beer. All right. Once again, thank you so much for being part of the Wake.Show. Every Thursday, make sure you tune in when Matt comes by and brings me beer and we get nice and schnockered on the air. Otherwise, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays will just be boring old me going through the issues of the day. Thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.